Good morning, everybody. My name is Noah. I'm a member of the Center for Political Innovation, and I'm here today to bring you guys your daily dose of revolutionary optimism, your CPI morning message. Now, recently I was reading the spoken autobiography that was written by a journalist about Che, a series of, about Fidel Castro, a series of interviews that were done with him in the early 2000s. And in them, there's a moment where he's talking about being in exile in Sierra Maestro and preparing for the Cuban Revolution, preparing to overthrow the Batista dictatorship and take power. And he begins to talk about meeting Che and getting to know Che, who he met in Mexico City, getting to know him and becoming friends and sort of character that Che had. And he says that there was a volcano just outside of Mexico City. And he says that every day, Che would say that he was going to climb that mountain. It was called Popo. It was about 18,000 feet tall. And Che suffered from asthma, so it wasn't something that he could do. He would get maybe 3/4 of the way up, and he would fail because of his asthma. He wouldn't be able to breathe because of the altitude or whatever, and he would have to come down. The next day, he would say, I'm going to conquer Popo, the name of the volcano. I'm going to climb that mountain. And he would get a little bit further, but every time his asthma, and he never ended up being able to climb it. Eventually, they had to leave to prepare for the revolution. And so he was never able to climb it, but he still tried. Every day, he got up and he tried, and he tried, and he tried, and he tried. And that's sort of the attitude that we have to have as revolutionaries, because it's not going to always be easy. But we still have to get up. We have to make sure that we are dedicating ourselves to this life of struggle. Che really exemplifies the human spirit. And I think a lot of communists really represent the human spirit of constantly struggling to make things better and constantly trying to improve and do better despite of all the adversity we face. I think of somebody in American history, somebody like Paul Robeson. This is a man, he's an all-American football player. He's a celebrated actor and bass singer, and he was a communist. Communists often exemplify what it means to be human. We exemplify what it means to strive for something better in spite of everything. And we do that because we live this austere life of struggle. We choose to live for others, and we choose to struggle for a better world. And that molds us, and it shapes us, and it changes us, and it makes us better, it makes us stronger. I don't think it's a coincidence that so many great figures in American history, in the history of the world, artists and painters and philosophers and people who have made the world a better place, I don't think it's a coincidence that they're communists, because there's a great optimism towards being a communist. There's a great sense that everything you do is in service of something greater. And that can really inspire you to achieve amazing things. And I think we ought to remember that we are all capable of amazing things, even going out to one protest, going out to one CPI event. It takes a tremendous strength of character, because everything in this society is telling us that we are not worth it, that we are not capable of changing things. Everything around us is telling us we ought to just shrink down and not care and to just do nothing and be happy, to own nothing and be happy. But when you have, maybe this is awkward phrasing, but the revolutionary energy of becoming a communist, of dedicating yourself to one of these organizations, it almost becomes a vaccine against the hatred and horrible conditions that the ruling class wants us to adopt and to understand, to live in. So my message to you, comrades, is that I want you all to get involved, to dedicate yourself to doing something. And when you do that, you will see changes not only around you, you'll not only see the society around you begin to change, and that does feel good, but you'll begin to see changes in yourself. And you'll begin to strive to be somebody like a Che, to be somebody like a Paul Robeson or a Harry Haywood or, a Malcolm X, somebody who lives for others and somebody who is capable of greatness, because every single one of us is capable of greatness if we just dedicate ourselves to this. So thank you.